For number 8, it says find the slope, y-intercept, and equation of each line. So I'm going to go ahead and start with A. I notice that there is already a y-intercept at 0, 3. Since it crosses the y-axis, I can safely say that y-intercept will be 3. So now I just have to find my slope. I notice it's a positive slope, so my slope is going to be a plus whatever it is going to be. So my rise is going to be right here and my run over here. So I notice also they're counting by ones, so I can count each unit as 1. So I have 1, 2, 3 as my rise, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over here as my run. So I have my rise over run, which is 3 over 6, or I can simply say 1/2. Now that I have both of these values, I can substitute into y equals mx plus b. Remember, the y remains and the x remains, so I have y equals 1/2 x plus 3. For b, I notice that the slope is going negatively, and I also don't really see a y-intercept. If the line continues to go, it will eventually hit the y-axis, but I can't estimate here. I really have to find an accurate answer for that. But luckily, I do have points. So I'm going to start with slope. I'm going to go down and to the right. So if I'm going downwards, my slope is going to be negative. And in this case as well, they're counting by 2's on the y-axis. So that gives me 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 for my rise, which is also a negative 12. And then my rise is also counting, or my run, I'm sorry, is counted by 2's. So we have 2, 4 over here. So my slope is actually going to be negative 12 over 4, or after I simplify, I end up with negative 3. Now the equation is y equals mx plus b. I can pick any x here, or I can pick any y here. So I'm actually going to go with the number 6, 6, because I don't want to deal with any large numbers such as 18. So y is 6, my slope is negative 3, my x is 6. So remember, this is the ordered pair I'm going to use that has my x and my y. Then I'm going to add b, not knowing what that's going to be. So I have 6 equals negative 18 plus b. So I have to think negative 18 plus what number will give me 6. And it will actually give me 24. Now remember, I'm not done. They're asking for an equation, and I don't have one yet. So my equation is going to be y equals negative 3x plus 24. The slope is going downwards, it's negative, and eventually when it continues to go upwards, it's going to hit at 0, 24 for my y-intercept. Now, C looks a little bit different. It's a horizontal line. So that tells me that I don't have a rise, but I do have a run. So if I take a look at my run here, it's counted by ones. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as my run, and 0 as my rise. So my slope is going to be 0 over 6, which also equals 0. And if I continue to look, if this line continues, it's going to cross at this point, and that point is actually 7. So I can also say that my y-intercept is 7, so b equals 7. So if I substitute these two things into my equation, I get y equals 0x plus 7. But anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So essentially, my equation is just y equals 7 because it's crossing at 7 on the y-axis. For D, it looks a little bit different as well. It's a vertical line. And I know that the units are by 2. So I have 2, 2, 4, 6, but I'm not really sure what number that is. So I can go ahead and just take 10 minus 3 and get 7. So 7 is going to be my rise. So my slope is 7 over, but I don't have a run. It's not going either way, left or right. So it's 0. Anytime there's a 0 in the denominator, it's what we call undefined. It doesn't exist. So in this case, there's no slope, or it's actually an undefined one. It doesn't exist. However, there is still an equation. Just like this one where it crosses at y, we can also say that this one is x equals 6 because the vertical line continues to go and crosses at x. So you have a vertical line that's x equals 6, but we don't have an actual slope.